Hi everyone, I hope you guys are all having a good day. So today I am making some file folders and I thought I would come on and share them with you. I've been trying to be creative every day and it's been sort of a challenge for me to just sit down and make something every day just to kind of get back into being creative again. And so far I've been loving it. I've been having a lot of ideas. I get my little notebook out and I write down all my ideas in there, and once you start being creative, it kind of sets it off and you start getting ideas for this, and this. So anyway, I created these folders like a long time ago, years ago. I have a video of a journal that I made where I have one of these folders in it, and I'll link it below. But I never really came on and showed how I made them. So you just take a manila file folder, and I'm going to cut it down so that it's not as big. I like the concept of using one of these as an ephemera folder to put like with a journal, or if you want to send some papers in a happy mail, or just even if you want to organize yourself and put like some of your ephemera in these folders, that would be really cute too. So like I said, I'd like to cut these down. So I'm measuring 6.5 inches from the bottom to the top, and then I'm measuring 9 inches across. So that will just make them a little bit not quite as big, but you can certainly decorate the full-size folder if you have a project you'd like to use that size on, or you can even go smaller. And like you'll see later in this video, I make another one that's a little bit smaller as well. So then you just want to cut out the size folder that you measured. And once you have that cut out, you want to save that top part that has the tab, because we're going to reuse that. And all of these little cutoffs that I'm cutting off right now, save all of those, especially if you tea dye them, because they make really great tag bases. So before I get to the tab part, I'm going to pick out my papers that I want to cover the folder with. So this is really fun because you can use all of your pretty printables that you have in your stash, or you could use your vintage papers. You can collage papers on here, and it gives like sort of a bigger area. So I love the idea of using some of my favorite florals and just some patterns that you really want to see the full size pattern on. So I'm using this black floral. This is actually a printable that was an antique French fabric, and it is so pretty. I love this. So this is the one that I used in the original folder that I made a couple years ago. I used this seam print, and it just turned out so pretty. I love that black floral. So right now I'm just trying to figure out what size I want it to be on the folder, and I also would like to layer some ledger paper with it as well. So I'm just figuring that all out. So I decided I want to use these pretty ladies on the back of the folder, and I love them so much. So I'm just trying to figure out where I want to cut the papers and make it line up on the back how I want it. I'm just crinkling up the edges a little bit and then adding some ink. I also really love the idea of adding the ink to the manila folder, just a little bit. It adds just like a little bit of aging to it if you want that vintage look. I want to add just a little bit of this black floral just on the corner of this image. So I'm just trying to work out how I want to do that. I'm just kind of carefully tearing this top of this image here so that I can get enough of it off so that I can see that black floral right there on the corner. It ends up being like a little bit hard to, because I didn't make the black floral long enough, so I'm fiddling with it for a little bit. So now I'm bringing the tab back and I'm going to cut it to fit. I want it to go on the left side of the folder. So I am just going to figure out how I want it to line up, and then I'm gonna cut off some of the extra stuff. So now I'm going to take the tab and just round off the corner. So I'm going to round that corner off on the right, and then eventually I'm going to round that little piece off on the left. There, now I think it looks so cute like that. And so I just want to find some papers to cover that with and glue it in place, and then it will be ready to go. I like using the original tab because I think like it has a really nice shape to it. It's nice and long. You can obviously just put, like if you were going to organize some of your craft supplies, you could just put like the name of whatever you're putting in there, or if you're giving it as a gift to someone, it would be nice to put their name on that little tab as well. So I decided to use some sheet music on the back side of the tab, and then I'm going to turn it over and put papers on the front. So then you can see how it looks with the ladies on the back. I think that looks really pretty. I love that so much. So I'm going to pick this invoice for the front of that tab, and I'm picking it because I like the wording up on the top. I like the black lettering, the typography of it. So my labels aren't really labeling anything per se. I'm just picking pretty papers and kind of collaging it all together to make the folder. But if you wanted to label, like I said earlier, you could easily, label your folders however you like. And I originally got this piece of ephemera from Angie. So thank you, Angie. It's so pretty. I love this old vintage French invoice. I think if I remember correctly, I changed the color of this piece of ephemera to pink. So I think the pink looks really pretty with that black floral with all the rosy colors. So yeah. So pretty. Now we're just going to take some glue and put it on the back of that tab and glue it to the back of the folder. So we're getting ready. Our next step is going to be to glue the sides of the folder together. But you could also take and put pretty papers on the inside of the folder. I'm just choosing not to because I really don't think you really see it. Another thing I'm going to do is take this clear packing tape and I'm going to run a strip of it along the bottom of that tab for the reason of, like, whenever you're reaching into the folder to put your papers or your ephemera inside, at least it's smoothing out that little edge and you're not going to like clip on anything trying to pull anything in and out. The next thing we're going to do is put the glue going up each side of the folder so that way it seals up the sides. And then once I have the glue on, I'm going to run it also through my sewing machine, but I'm going to let the glue dry first before I go run it through the sewing machine. So I sewed up the sides and everything looks really pretty. I love how these turned out. I think that when you make the first one, it takes you a little while, but then once you get the hang of it, you can kind of like go through them pretty quickly. It's just choosing your papers. That's like the hardest part about this project is choosing the papers that you want to use. So yeah, you can put your papers and your ephemera tucked inside of there and send it along with whatever treasures you're sending out, or just make some for yourself. Now I'm going to go ahead and make two more, and I'm just going to leave the camera run. I will put it to music, but the second one, I'm making two more. The one after I make after this one is going to be a little bit smaller. So yeah, if you want to change your size of these folders, you can make them whatever size you want. And like I said, you can use whatever papers you want, just kind of collage the papers together to whatever you think looks pretty. I am using some of my digitals on these, so I will link those kits below just in case you like any of those papers. And I hope you guys enjoy watching the process. If this is all boring, just go ahead and fast forward all the way to the end to when they're all complete. I really love the way this one turned out, especially. The colors are so pretty. The back is really pretty. I really, really love the received on the tab. So yeah, you just tuck your stuff inside. I still have to sew the sides of the last two folders that I did, and everything will be complete. So I hope everyone enjoyed watching, creating these folders, and if you're inspired, I'd love to see you make some too. I really especially want to say thank you to everyone for all of your really nice comments you have been leaving me. I appreciate it so much. I've been trying to be creative and get back to my YouTube, so hopefully you will be seeing a lot more of me. I have a lot of ideas that I've been writing down in my notebook, so I hope everyone has a great day, and I will see you again soon.